What's up, guys? It's NottheWinner, and really, I just wanted to talk to you guys about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I made a pre-release review on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet about what's good and what's bad, whether you should buy it based on the pre-release stuff. But now that I've played the game, I've gotten all 18 badges, and I'm at the very end of the game at this point, just doing end game content. Um, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an additional review of the game. In my initial review, I was concerned that combat might feel a little bit slow after you've done auto battling, and I was not wrong. Some of the combat animations, if they had been sped up, could have been a lot better for the game, and even some of the cutscenes and some of the ways you get entered into, like for example, the terror battles. I really, really wish that was sped up a lot more. Um, the game itself, amazing. I know tons of people have been having technical, graphical, and all sorts of other issues with the game. I have had my Switch, and now my Switch is like the OG Switch. It's not like a Switch Lite. It's not any of the new generation Switches. It is an OG Switch docked and just plugged in through my um, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of this, but capture card into my computer, right? So I'm able to show you guys the game. And I've had zero issues. I typically take a break every 3 hours, so that might have something to do with it, making sure that the system's not getting too hot and staying too hot, which can cause tons of issues in tons of games. But overall, I haven't run into any of these major graphical issues that I've been seeing online and that people have been having. So my experience of the game might be totally different from yours, in which case the review would change. If my review was going at 3 FPS the entire game and I was struggling to even play this game and I was glitching through walls, I would hate the game. So I totally understand all the hate that's coming towards the game. But as someone who has not experienced any of that and who's gotten to experience all the beauty of this game, all the musical masterpiece that they've put into this, and all the emotion and story that they've tried to put, while also trying to stay in touch with the newer generation. Now, there was times where I felt it was slightly cringe at some of the words that they were using. Now, those words were still in fashion. It's not like they were actually out of date like most games typically tend to do. These words were still actually used, but they were on, I would say, the outer cusp of being used. But the game actually gets real good credit for trying. They stay hip with it. They try and stick with what people actually say. And I know hip with it is not something that people say anymore. Like, let's be honest, guys. I'm not with it anymore. And I can still notice where they're falling off. But overall, the game itself was an absolute beauty. You got to explore the world as you chose, and there was times where you ran into a gym and you were like, wow, that gym's way higher level than me. I can't beat it. And you'd realize that you chose a gym that was way too tough for you. You'd have to go explore something else or train. And I thought that was a really cool concept rather than, hey, you have to follow this linear path, take on these 8 gyms, then take on the Elite Four, then you've beaten the game. End of story. And in turn, instead of 8 badges, you had 18 badges because you had 3 different storylines going on and you could follow either one. And by the end of the game, slight spoiler here, guys, at the end of the game, you are at a point where you need to complete all 3 of those storylines to progress to the end game content, which includes tons of Pokemon that you have not even seen in this overworld yet, and you will not see in the overworld. So, really, really cool concept there. They designed everything really, really cool. Mechanically, I thought that they created the bosses to be much more challenging. The AI actually understands what moves need to be used against what people. It's not total random. It actually notices, hey, you're weak against this, so I'm actually going to use this rather than just rolling a dice on what skill to use. If that's not true and they're still rolling a dice and happening to roll the advantage skill every single time, I'm damn surprised. But I think AI took a big turn up on this one, and because you got to explore freely, you were able to find challenges and encounters that were actually exciting rather than you just steamrolling everything. And there were points where you got strong enough where you could just steamroll everything. So I thought it had a fair balance there. Now, of course, if you guys use the Chancy experience method, then you could overpower anything in the game very easily, and that's not the point of the game, though, guys. I explored the entire game. I had all the challenges, and once I beat everything, then I started level grinding using Chancy's, because then I could actually say, like, hey, I've beaten this game, I've experienced every inch of it, and found the challenges that allow you to grow, rather than just steamrolling the whole game. Now, if you use the Chancy method, nothing against you. It's part of the game. You guys found a way, such as eating one of the first sandwiches that it offers you in the game, to get one of the highest XP creatures to spawn in the game that allows you to level insanely quick. Good for you. No big deal. Now, what I can say, I think that the futuristic mons don't look as cool as the past mons. I won't say anything more than that for those who don't want spoilers. So I think Scarlet would be the better version for people who are trying to collect all the mons, but for those who are there just for the legendary, Violet's clearly the cooler one. Just based on the riding model, it actually uses the wheels instead of trying to run, which is weird on the Scarlet version. Now, for those of you guys who are really interested in competitive play, that terraforming is actually really interesting because you can actually swap mons and keep your terraform while he's like sitting there, right? So you could actually really plan this out to be able to swap him in and out as needed and keep him in terror the entire match and really deal some damage to your opponents. So I think this is really going to shake up competitive play in an interesting way. And even if it's not fully successful, it will just be a nice change of pace. Now, for those of you guys wondering about the food system, the picnic system, I've only done the picnic once, and that was literally to farm some chances recently. And I waited till the end of the game because I didn't want to have anything get ruined by me just cheesing some sort of picnic thing. So I didn't actually use the picnic till I'd already beaten the game. It's actually really overpowered and very, very cool. Insanely sick system. I need to dive a lot more into it to learn all the picnic recipes so I can actually cook all the good food and actually find everything in the game. And also the exploration system. If you join your friend's game and they're in Pokemon Scarlet and you're exploring the world, you can catch Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet. So you don't need to trade your friend. You can literally just get it. I know this video is a bit longer than my normal ones, guys, so I'll try and close it up here soon. I'm just very excited about this game, and everything that it offered to you is really cool. All the riding mode effects with the double jump, the flying, the boost system, that was really cool. Being able to choose whether you fight trainers or not was actually an extremely cool system that totally changed Pokemon in my mind, because I hated the fact that someone could walk up to you when you got 5 HP on one Pokemon and everyone else is dead and say, "Let's fight," and you can't say no. That sounded like BS to me. Like, dude, all my guys are almost dead. Don't you care about my Pokemon? Oh, okay, my bad. Like, you know, like that would have been reasonable, and that's kind of what's allowed in this game. All the terror battles are relatively easy, so I haven't had too much challenge there, so that's not too exciting. But I haven't found any 5-star ones yet, so that's argument there. And as far as it goes, like the game itself, very fun. A cool enough story. The plot holes that you think exist get twisted back, so you're like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. And overall, I have had very little problem with the game, and it's been an absolute blast. By far, probably top 3 Pokemon games that I've played, if not top 1. If you guys don't agree with this assessment, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video or thought it was accurate, let me know. Give me a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't think it was accurate, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to understand why. I've played Pokemon since Gen 1. I love all the Pokemon games, and I don't think that anyone's wrong in their arguments. I think that this is something where I love learning what people think about these kinds of games and what their interests are and what they actually find like to be the important things that make a game. So I would really love to hear your comments down below so I can totally understand how the other point of views see video games as a whole. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit through this entire video. I know we're almost at 10 minutes now, and that's normally not my style, so thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.